We're at ASOTUCON in 2025. Last night opening was, I don't even know what the right word for it was. Explosive might be the big word. All gas, no brakes, being shouted by 500 people.
Inspirational for sure.
Was
The
inspirational.
energy was incredible.
It's been like that all day though already.
And I think the industry needs a reminder about people more than cars. And when you think when you keep hearing that and it keeps reinforcing, it sets a tone for the show. You can feel it talking to people. And I think if you distill it even farther, it comes down to shared values. People share the same values, they connect more. And that's what I'm very grateful about the show. I get to feel that.
I agree.
Humanizer.
When you guys decided to come to this event this year,
Yeah.
I know there's been probably a lot of conversation, a lot of planning, a lot of everything.
Yep.
Why did you decide to come to this event?
Why? I think I was telling Kyle as well, there's something about the ASOTU which is fresh, which really excites us. As a young company, that's something that we represent and we kind of associate with. And I think every dealer, every partner over here kind of has that mentality. So the conversations are so natural, right? Whether we're talking about our product or we're learning about what they're doing or their problems. So I think it's different from other venues that we've been to, and I think we love that energy and element of freshness and kind of being vulnerable as well at the same time, which I don't think that's the case at many other, usually that's not what you lead with, I think.
Now, to that point, I like how you used freshness. It was something new.
Yeah.
In the last 6 to 12 months between the last one, which I had serious FOMO about not being able to go for last year, the cards weren't in play. Being able to come to this one, I had a lot of mixed messages. There were at least a half a dozen people that told me that this was going to be it's not that the ROI isn't necessarily there. It wasn't really great for us, or maybe they didn't do well. Right. But what I'm feeling just in the first 6 hours of the event on day one is that it's not necessarily about, yes, when you come to these events, you sponsor events, you buy a booth or whatever the case may be, you have an expenditure and you expect some kind of remuneration to some degree in some capacity. The challenge is, especially as a new company like you guys are, you're deep into building relationships. You're not necessarily quite in the, somebody comes to an event, sees Toma and goes, I want that.
Right. Less transactional.
Right? They're coming to meet you. Who are you? What do you represent? What are your values? And I think this event, the way it's been structured thus far, feels a lot more like an open community to be able to learn about who people are, not necessarily what they do. I had to try and take this down a little bit further. I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, as you probably both know. I post a lot on LinkedIn, which also means I see a lot of profiles on LinkedIn.
Which is your favorite one?
My favorite post?
Favorite profile?
My favorite profile is my own. Because I put, not because it's my own, but my favorite profile is my own because I spent a truck ton of time getting better at what's in there. And that leads me to the question is, on LinkedIn, there's an about us.
Yeah.
If you could only have one sentence that was about us, that was Toma, what would it be?
We care about our customers.
That's a very good way to lead that question. So take that a step further.
Really do.
Why?
Because we empathize with them. I mean, the biggest thing is we learned the problem by being with our customers first. They saw something that we had, and they were like, please help us. And we're like curious, why? We go in and then we realize, holy cow, this is crazy. I understand why you feel this way. And then I think at some point we're just kind of one union into the other, like we feel the problems and then we're as invested in the problem as them. It's just I want to solve that problem. It's just obsession. There's no I don't think there's a grand meaning other than it's I just want to just make their life easier. I just want to solve it. You know,
We
like
want to automate the repetitive and escalate the critical for the dealer. Paul and crew stood on this, talked about connecting with people, right? If we can take those tasks, those small tasks, off the dealer's back where they look behind them and the phone doesn't have a red dot, guess what they're going to do with their customers better? They're going to connect with them. That person that maybe can't afford that $1,800 suspension job, they can have a 10-minute conversation with them, and it's okay. They can connect with their customer and give time back to the dealer. So we oddly want to help them connect better with their customers and just do a better job. That's what we're after, to help them.
Because realistically, you're talking about two forms of relationships, right? The challenge I had as a service advisor is developing long-term relationships. And I wouldn't say I had a challenge with it because I was actually pretty good at it. I have a difficulty with the cold. I have a big difficulty with cold, whether it's cold sales, cold appointment set. I don't seem to have a knack for it.
You're in good company, a lot of people.
Fair, but I excelled as an advisor in that capacity. My concern, and I think advisors who don't necessarily understand the technology or understand what high-value leaders are trying to do with your technology, is you're not looking to replace them. Liberate them, allow them the time to cultivate those relationships.
I'll give you like an analogy, which is, what would you do if you never had to wash dishes, if you never had to wash your clothes, if you never had to brush your teeth, right? Let's say it was all done for you. What would you do at that time?
Preach.
Like, that's really what we're trying to do. You could go wasted. You could doom scroll on Instagram or TikTok if you wanted.
I'd get on my motorcycle so fast.
Or you could read books and, become the most knowledgeable. Like, that's a choice. Like, all we offer is a choice. Do what you want. Like, we can free you from certain tasks. And you could reinvest that and get like 2x returns on something else, right? Which if you care about building relationships, there's probably something else at the bottom of your list that you never get to that can give you that value, right? Get to it.
So let's take this a step further because I want to understand a little bit better.
Yep.
Maybe that's the wrong way to phrase that. So in the competitive market space that is SaaS, AI, everything that's currently, especially what's being talked about currently, if someone was going to invest in 3 tools, let's say, Toma obviously being one of them, what are 2 other tools that complement your product? Because I want to know that space better.
That's a very good question.
And let me expand on that a little bit before you answer that. The reason I asked that is someone this morning said who was it? I think it was Steve Barker, who is, I think, National Sales Manager for something analytics. I can't remember. He was doing a pitch, and he said, somebody in the audience said, "Who are your competitors? Like, what would you replace?" His answer was, "We're not a replacement. We're an engine that allows you to make better decisions with other things that you do." So in that sense, Toma, the way it stands right now, obviously future is the future, building, changing things that you're doing. What are the other technologies that would complement what you do?
It's a great question. And I think you may think this is a no answer, but this is the answer, which is you have 2 amazing tools right now that you use already, right? Might be your DMS, might be your scheduler, might be your texting system. I don't know, right? There's something that you already have that you really like. I mean, at least for us, our goal has always been that we're doing this invisible work that no one likes to do, right? So we integrate with, whoever would come with us, right? And try to have the same mission and problem.
Okay. Interesting. Now, taking that, let's take that a step further. Let's dig on that. Let's dig on that a little bit.
Let's go.
You're a service manager. Think about, put yourself in your shoes, because you're trying to help service managers alleviate the stresses of their service advisors. So you have all of this going on. You've got all of these expenses going on. They're stressed because their bonus is based on expenses, right? Gross. How how do you tell them all the things that you do without pitching? Because this is for me.
Right.
I suck at sales.
Right.
I suck at, I said it before, I said it again, I suck at sales. So from your standpoint, I know your sales manager's there.
Yeah.
I want you to answer.
Yeah,
how would you pitch them without pitching to them to help them alleviate their stress and alleviate the service advisor stress?
So 2 ways to do this. It's very simple. Push the top line up. Basically you reduce your expenses and increase your revenue, right? Those are the 2 things that you can really do to drive up your returns.
Correct.
Now, if you have an external BDC, for example, right, that is an additional expense to you that you're spending on, you could reduce that. That's one sort of tangible thing that might come out of this. Or let's say you're already at like max capacity and you're dropping leads, you're not answering them, that's additional revenue that's lost, you can capture that. That will drive up your revenue. Okay. And if all of your inbound calls are taken care of, if the team now does the same amount of outbound, how much more revenue can you get? Right? Gotcha. So those are the 3 things. Like, we'll help you reduce cost, but also will help you save time, and you can repurpose that time to make more money. Simple.
So let's talk about BDC a little bit more specifically. Because I think there's a couple of maybe one BDC company kind of here at ASOTUCON to a degree. I have a very good friend who's in BDC training. I have actually several friends in BDC training. From that standpoint, also the BDC companies that run outsource companies for BDC, and even the stores that run BDCs in-house.
Yeah.
Are you looking to replace actual BDC people or just to make them more efficient?
I like that question because we get that a lot. We are not replacing anyone. What we are trying to do is, like I said, we're going to wash the dishes, we're going to do your laundry, we're going to like do all the dirty work that is repetitive and like gets people jaded. So that you can take that time, and now it's your choice. You want to have them do more outbound. It's like funny because when people say replacing people assume that there's only finite amount of work, right? At any dealership, there's infinite amount of work. If you had more hands, could you do more? Yes,
absolutely.
Of course. Like,
it's just expense, right?
Yeah, 100 years ago, right? Like when there were no cars, people were scared. Oh my God, like what's gonna happen? Like all the chariots and like But look, today we have more work. We're so busy. How? Why? There's so much more technology, but the work seems to keep increasing. And we need more people all the time. Why? And I think that's true for the dealerships too. Like, we'll take some work, of course, but we'll free you to do more. And then you already have this long list of things to do. Just go for it. Right? It cannot be true that the most valuable thing you will do today is book an oil change, for example. Like with those 5 minutes, there could definitely be something else that you get a better return on today. Right?
Agreed. That's where I was talking about it earlier with Ed Roberts, and we were talking about leadership. The highest form of leadership is delegating yourself out of a job. In this circumstance,
the most difficult part too.
It's also the most difficult.
You have to lose control.
Correct. So in this circumstance, when we're talking about adding a tool, we regularly say make sure your processes are already good before you add a tool. In this circumstance, it kind of feels like you can add the tool without changing the processes, because then you can figure out what process you actually need to change in this circumstance. That's a really big thing for me to realize, because as a service manager, as a fixed director, I didn't want to add anything without changing something or making something else perfect first. That way when I bring in a tool, it doesn't cause chaos. In this circumstance, this could actually alleviate chaos before it creates new problems. I guess the only thing that would need to be process perfect before adding more tool is making sure that your lead flow is properly set up. That way, when it gets booked through Toma for the service department, that it goes to the appropriate way, it's integrated properly, because when you add leads in, if they're not managed in the back end properly, it's a complete waste of everybody's time and money.
And if that's not the case, we can help you do it. We've done it with so many dealerships now. We have like all of these Rubik's Cube of combinations that we work with, like DMS, scheduler, texting, whatever. We have the working knowledge to get it done, because it is not as complicated as it seems.
Okay.
And also the thing with AI is that a lot of these...
So any service manager can take care of it.
Yeah. It's funny, but AI lets you do that. That's the promise, right? Which is, it's invisible in a way that you can get stuff to work without having to worry about it, right? It just works in the background. You don't have to like, let me move this, let me push this, do that.
So from your standpoint, you're now 18 months in, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Less than that, actually. Like April, maybe 1 year, 1 month.
1 year, 1 month. Wow. Okay. Cool. Take me back to April 24th.
Were you
Okay.
at the pitch tank?
I was in the pitch tank over there, but
Okay,
I don't
no,
think I
well,
missed your pitch tank.
Because if you want to hear the story, I would say come to the pitch tank in the afternoon today. But I mean, to give you like a brief version of it, we were in a completely different industry. We were in healthcare. We were doing AI voice for that. And we'd actually just come out of a startup accelerator called Y Combinator, which is popular in like
in San Fran.
techie sort. Yeah, exactly. So we were just trying to figure out problems that we want to solve, and I feel like the car business just chose us. Like
It has a tendency to do that.
yeah, we just walked into a door and we're like, oh my god.
We can do this.
And then people are like complaining, which is great, right? Because there are problems, right?
Yes.
Of course, they're like, this sucks, that is an issue, and I'm like, wow, we were looking for problems. Like this is
Yes.
the playground, and then people love like trying things. Like we were working with banks and hospitals, and they were so slow, and we're like, there is no way they would move so quickly. But dealers are like risk taking. They like to try new things because they care about the customer and they want to see the solution. So we felt that instantly. We're like, wow, okay, this is a match. Yeah, let's go.
I like that speed part. So take me back to April. So I don't want to know about how the investment happened. What I want to know is, what was the biggest and most mountainous, shall we say, challenge that you had to overcome first?
I think the biggest challenge any entrepreneur goes to is building that empathy for the customer, right? Because you don't have all the context that the customer has, right? For example, like what's going on in the BDC? Like why is this an issue? Like why are certain calls harder than the others, right? Why do customers get annoyed when they call in? Like what is the backstory to it? Like get like the full context, right? I think that is the biggest hurdle, because once you know that, what to build is commoditized. Like it's like having that insight, like this is what annoys people, this is what they like, this is what's missing. It's like you kind of plan everything in your mind first, right, before you execute. Obviously there's uncertainty and you'll find out new things as you go, that's fine. But like it's like having that picture to start with and building it, because a lot of companies, we're never going to revisit that. That's that approach. Most companies are built off the founders first few
Idea,
months,
passion,
right?
and purpose.
And then whatever you said it, that's it. So I think it's so critical to get it right. And it's very hard and painful because you walk in as somebody who doesn't know anything. Like I don't even claim to say that I know the business well. I'm a student. I'm just learning, right? Whatever new information comes, we're absorbing it. And I think we wanted to set that from like day one. That's what we did. But obviously it sucks. Like you don't know anything. It's tough. You get humbled again and again and again. And I guess now we're just used to it.
Awesome. So what you said, one of the things that you said in there is getting to know your customers, having empathy for your customers, and understanding your customers. Something that you may or may not already do that may I suggest that you do. Service managers don't have the kind of community I think they should. Same thing applies to technicians, but technicians can lean into being service managers. Do you have a small community of service managers and say inbound advisors who want to lead and inbound technicians who want to lead? Have you got a small community that you can call on for questions?
So we have a dealer advisory council, as we call it. We have plenty of service managers on there.
Nice.
It's like even before we ship a product, we have mock-ups and prototypes that we like present to them before like going all out. We get the feedback. That's how we ship quickly, because we are so close to our customers. We like drive by and just go to our dealer. Sometimes my co-founders over there, Anthony, will work out of like dealers when he's working on something.
Nice.
Simple, and then we host like events here and there. We call like our customers. We had a few of our customers here too. We were just hanging out with them.
Excellent.
So async or sync, both ways. We try to be close to them, and as a byproduct, you have like-minded people come together. So we have that group.
That's awesome to hear. That small feedback loop that you get from customers, like that you're actually asking questions of the customer. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what pain you have.
Yeah, and why did
you're
you
now
like
using our solution? What are you doing with it? Please break it.
Yeah. That's
break
what we
it.
say. Like
please break
last
it.
demo, we told our customer on stage, we're like, please break this and tell us how it breaks. Because that's the learning.
Awesome. On that note, that's amazing. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Monik?
Yeah.
very much appreciated.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing
Lovely
at
conversation.
some time, probably in the next couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to actually getting to see Toma in some different. I've already got the very small snippet. I got that quote unquote demo. Say your voice and get it.
Yeah,
have it
yeah,
speaking.
yeah.
I've already had that. That was
Had your clone made.
That was my clone. That was amazing. That was mind blowing.
We're gonna release that publicly too, by the way, so people can try it.
Awesome. This is just gamification of what it can.
Let's
the
just have
result
fun.
is.
Yeah,
Let's have
Let's
fun.
just like explore technology, but have
Yeah.
fun. Don't be scared.
Exactly. Enjoy the rest of ASOTUCON. I appreciate
Awesome. Well,
the time.
thank you so
appreciate
much.
the energy.
Yeah, love it.
And have fun, folks.